So here are the American Athletic Conference preseason coaches poll. The Houston Cougars picked to win the league for the fourth straight year under head coach Kelvin Sampson. Memphis picked to finish second in the league in the fifth year under Penny Hardaway. One first plate vote going to the Tigers. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but I got to introduce my guest for the evening. As always, I'm joined by the talented Aaron Wilson, our ABC 24 sports reporter. And for all your inside access on the Memphis Tigers, you want to check out this guy. This is Tigers beat writer for the Daily Memphian, Parth Upadhyaya. Thank you for joining us. You know, almost got a little tongue-tied there, but I got it.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. So you saw the preseason poll right there, guys. Houston picked to win the league. They are the defending champions. Should Memphis feel disrespected by the second-place pick? Parth, I'll start with you. What do you think?
Not at all. I mean, the bottom line is this, right? Like, under the Penny Hardaway era, Memphis has not finished higher than third. They finished fifth first 2 years and third the past 2 seasons. They've had 2 number-1 recruiting classes in that span. Nobody else is recruiting like that in the AAC, right? This ain't the ACC, it's the AAC. So for that to be the case, you know, people are going to be skeptical, right? And this season they've put this squad together full of transfers, and there's so many question marks. You got to go out and win something before, you know, you're picked to win the conference.
Yeah, as always say, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of the concept they have. And Penny Hardaway, he didn't say anything about wanting smoke. He said, you know, we're kind of doing it in the dark, Ja Morant style, right? Aaron, what's kind of been your thoughts on, should they feel disrespected?
I actually agree with both of you. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and obviously you have to go by the history of the Memphis Tigers. And then when you look at just last season, obviously I don't think it's disrespectful at all, because Houston is the team that actually made it a little deeper in March Madness. Although Memphis did make it to March Madness, obviously Houston put up a fight a little bit longer in that tournament down in March. Now, on top of that, we talked to Kendrick Davis, well, Media Day. Kendrick Davis kind of answered that question, and he said although he doesn't find it disrespectful, he always finds those preseason rankings wrong, right? That's exactly what he said. Well, they're always wrong by the end of the season, so we really don't pay attention to that. So I would actually take that perspective and say, no, disrespectful, not so much. Wrong, we will stand to find out. Towards the end of this, TBD. Yes.
TBD, good point. A number of transfers brought into the Tigers program. You bring up no one bigger than Kendrick Davis, thought to be the #1 transfer in the entire country. Conference Player of the Year last year in the AAC, averaged 19 points a game. Not picked to be back-to-back. I want to know what y'all's perspective is. What should we expect from Kendrick Davis this year? Aaron.
Oh, me first. So I'll tell you what I think about Kendrick Davis. I'm very excited that he is on this team. One thing that I look for out of him is absolutely leadership. And then one thing that I haven't seen so far this season that I think is pivotal for the Memphis Tigers team is the fact that he can shoot from outside, and they will look for that momentum that he can bring outside, especially when it comes to facilitating the ball and getting people other shots that are wide open outside, so that obviously that shooting percentage can grow. Because so far what we've seen in these 2 exhibition games is not promising when we talk about outside shooting. So that is exactly what I'm looking for from Kendrick Davis, a facilitator but also a scorer, which we know he can do both.
Yeah, one thing for sure, he can draw a defense, and there's going to be people who have opportunities to shoot on the outside. He had 22 in that first exhibition game, 19 last year. Parth, what do you think we're going to see from this year?
You know, you mentioned leadership, and Aaron just brought up the AAC Media Days interview, and that's the first thing that comes to mind, right? We know what he can do on the court. 19 points, 4 assists last year, won the conference's Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the Media Day interview with him, DeAndre Williams, somebody asked DeAndre Williams, hey, what's your role going to be this year, right? He was going to go answer the question, and Kendrick says, no, I'll answer it, right? He says, I'll answer it, and what does he say? He says that, no, his role is going to be far more this season than it was last season. So that's the kind of guy that Kendrick Davis is. He's talking to a, you know, AAC second teamer and demanding that of him. You know, if that's the standard, then everybody else has to step up too to meet that standard.
Just that rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. You're expecting
Absolutely.
Kendrick to make everybody around him much better. Memphis did not look great in that first exhibition game. They won, maybe a little too close for comfort for a lot of people watching. Got right in exhibition 2 against, who would they say, Lane College. What kind of concerns you, Parth, about this Memphis squad?
I think it's 2 things, right? One is outside shooting, and we've been talking about it so much. It's like I'm beating a dead horse right now, right? They went 2 of 19 that first game, 4 of 20. Marginal improvement, but not enough to be substantial, right, going to the regular season. So that will have to improve. At least somebody's got to be a competent 3-point shooter to where defenses have to respect you, and they can't pack the paint, they can't zone you to death. And I think that's number 1. Number 2 is the turnovers, right? We saw the first game, they only turned it over 9 times, but when Kendrick Davis was out, yeah, they scored 96 points. Very promising to see that kind of point total without your lead guy, but you turned the ball over 19 times. Kendrick Davis isn't always going to be out in the court. You know, it's a long season. He could be dinged up. He could, you know, whatever it may be. He might not always be out there. You've got to be able to take care of the basketball without Kendrick Davis on the court.
Yeah, and you expect an Alex Lomax, who's been with the team so long, to be able to kind of hold it down.
Absolutely.
In the event he's not there. They've got to be better turnover-wise. The Tigers did shoot 35% from three last year. Averaged 6 a game, lost 4 of their top 5 three-point shooters. Of course, Jaden Hardaway is still here. But, on the flip side, the good side, Aaron, what encourages you about the Tigers this year?
Well, honestly, what encourages me about the Tigers is the fact that they are a veteran squad. These guys have college playing experience, right? They have years under their belt. They've been in this same type of atmosphere before. They have experience playing against college-ready teams. And so I do think that is something that, although Memphis had a talented recruiting class last season, they didn't have that experience out there. And I think that's something that will definitely play in the favor of the Memphis Tigers. I think that the one thing that we haven't seen so far that we hope to see once play starts absolutely once they get to Vanderbilt is that chemistry between the veterans grow. Now, I think if we see that mesh between the two, veteranship, or let's say experience, because I don't know if veteranship is actually a word, but that experience and then also that chemistry grow, I think that the Tigers will stand a chance and be pretty good this year.
Well, they're going to have to mesh really early. They open the season tomorrow against Vanderbilt in Nashville. Parth, Aaron, thank you for joining us. And, of course, Aaron, I'm going to have you later on in the show, so we ain't got to worry about you too much.